Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to another StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void game. Today I got a very dirty game for you that I played a couple of days ago with Terran versus a Zerg player. Now, as you may be aware, I have been playing a lot of random recently on the live stream as well. I've uploaded a video of me playing some Protoss recently too, and basically we got promoted to Master League. We're actually currently a little bit higher ranked than my Zerg account, believe it or not. We're like ranked 20 Masters, I believe, with this second account. Obviously, I got a whole bunch of bonus pool on the other one, but that doesn't really matter all too much. We've been facing high-level players, and for the most part, my Terran play is not that incredible, okay? I would say my Terran play is somewhere below, or somewhere around Diamond or so, and the main reason why we are winning games is just by simply, you know, just making random units at random timings and just randomly winning. At least that's what it feels like a lot of the time to me. Now, the approach that I've been taking in most of the games is to simply just lose to random build orders from my opponent and basically learn what kind of strategy I should be going for instead. So I don't really mind losing ladder points, I don't really mind losing games, so I've been improving a ton that way. However, in this specific game, I did have a very particular plan in the fact that I wanted to go for some very dirty Blue Flame Hellion play. Now, obviously, since I spawned as random, my opponent spawned as Zerg, I could obviously know that, and he will have to adjust accordingly. So I'm gonna assume right off the bat my opponent is gonna go for a hatchery first into a spawning pool and into a gas geyser. Probably gonna go for circling speed, right? Now, because we spawn as random, I also know very well that, you know, as a Terran player, Blue Flame Hellions are extremely annoying for the Zerg player. It is something that I personally absolutely hate playing against. I find it a very cheap strategy. I find it very easy for the Terran players to go for, and I generally speaking don't really like it. But since I'm obviously up against, you know, high-level players here, I also have a hard time practicing my macro strategy, and not every single game I want to go ahead and play macros. So in this game, I play a little bit dirty. I decide to go for a little bit of a more aggressive style, and this is actually the very first time that I am doing such a Blue Flame Hellion build. So most of the time, I end up playing either mech or a bio-based style with a lot of drops. In this specific game, I figured, you know, why not go for a little something else? So I've already seen that my opponent was spawned across the map. I also know that my opponent, you know, has got, do we get that worker? I don't think we get that worker. But I've already noticed that my opponent did put down a natural, you know, hatchery as well. And we are all in a good position. I know that he got a gas geyser. I did also check that the Zergling speed was on the way. So we know about pretty much everything that the Zerg player is currently, you know, going for. Now, the one thing that I found out about this Blue Flame Hellion play is that even if you open up with Reapers, or not with Reapers rather, with Roaches as the Zerg player, it is actually still a very easy game to lose, because the Blue Flame Hellions can either just kill, you know, a small amount of Roaches, that's not too weird, but then obviously they can also just run by the Roaches, and it's one of those strategies that, if executed correctly, can do so much damage. I can imagine that if you're anywhere, you know, below one of the lower ranks, so let's say anywhere below probably Platinum League or so, if you do this exact build that I'm doing right here versus a Zerg player that is going for some macro focus play, I cannot imagine you really losing. So I did decide to go for the what's it called, the Reaper into the expansion, and then I also put down a double factory. So the very first factory I did put down, and I don't know if this is the most optimized version of the build order, by the way, I'm just sort of winging it. I decided to go for 2 Hellions out of this first one with the reactor that I built on the barracks, which is 100% standard obviously, and I'm also getting a second factory with a second gas geyser, and instead I'm getting a tech lab on the barracks. So I'm using the barracks to basically build all of the attachments, you know, whatever I need. And I already got enough gas right now to make sure that I can start up the Blue Flame upgrade immediately, which is the Infernal Pre-igniter, and you can see me start that up immediately on the production tab. Now, looking back at this replay as well, you can see me scrolling around the map a ton, right? Normally, you want to do that as much as you can with hotkeys, and you want to make sure that you're controlling your army well. I'm just scrolling a ton because my skill for Terran is just simply not as high as I would like it to be. So, what I decided to do right now, since my opponent is not really scouting anything, I'm just simply gonna sit here and make a lot of Hellions. I don't really want to show them to him, although right now my opponent does have a head or an Overlord sitting close to the base, and I do know that that is located there as well. So I only show him 4 Hellions, and I'm gonna make sure that the rest of the Hellions is gonna be sneaking by everything. My opponent doesn't take any of the watchtower, so at this point I am fully aware that he is in the darkness. He doesn't have an overload spotting anything, and for that very reason I decide to go all in with this sort of a style. I have decided to only show him 4 Hellions. Instead, I'm just gonna make a ton more. You can actually follow this up with a 3rd command center as well, but since my opponent isn't scouting whatsoever, I'm just gonna go ahead and start pushing. I'm pushing slightly before the Infernal Pre-igniter upgrade is done. I am already transitioning towards a mech-based army if this doesn't do enough damage, but not seeing any Hellions yet at this point in time makes me very happy, because Zerglings obviously are gonna be relatively easy to pull off. So I'm also following this up with a Liberator. Also one of those other units that I've been playing a ton, and I'm just gonna simply go ahead and micro this army to the best of my abilities, roasting as many drones as I can, knowing that if I manage to roast 1 mineral line, I will effectively immediately win the game. And here we go, the first drones do end up falling. I don't think I've lost a single Hellion yet, and after my opponent, you know, gets 1 roach out, it's not gonna really be all enough, because, you know, the Hellions are just simply in too big of a number. Now at this point I already have a Liberator flying across the map as well. I got the armory finishing up, which means that I can go ahead and transition towards a mech-based army, but also, you know, obviously make these Hellions into Hellbats, which all of a sudden makes them really good against these roaches. And all in all, while I know fully well how annoying this is as a Zerg player to deal with, I feel like on certain maps such as this one with the wide open ramps, if your opponent isn't going for any kind of scouting, it is totally okay to skip out the 3rd command center and instead just put down a, you know, starport like that, for example, and, you know, maybe get this thing going up a little later. You can see, by the way, my macro has never been this sloppy when I play Zerg, right? But I think it's totally okay to go for these kind of build orders every now and then, especially, you know, as a Zerg player by heart, knowing how annoying that is to be dealing with. So all in all, pretty cheesy strategy. I am obviously going to be focusing mainly on macro-focused build orders. I definitely don't want to be that guy that is cheesing every single, you know, Terran game that he gets. I do want to start to learn how to play mech more efficiently first off, and then eventually, once I get a little bit better at the micro aspect, I think I do want to go ahead and play some bio as well. I find bio so far to be extremely difficult, just because Terran versus Zerg, you know, it's a tough matchup. Like, Zerg has a lot of stuff, and if you're fighting on creep, good luck splitting against all the banelings and whatnot. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more Terran content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I want to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one.